magnanimity. And Baba is a very magnanimous politician, let me tell you. Once he trusts you, once he knows you are loyal, he trusts you, he will hand over the ticket to you. And I think for those who stayed in politics long enough, they know that Baba's exit means that they would have to struggle their way into the ballot. And many of them will not be beneficiaries of that process. I know constituencies, for instance, let me give an example of Karachuonyo, for instance. There are no nominations. Migori Senate, there are no nominations. Migori government, there were no nominations. Many of these constituencies had no nominations. So what happens then? It means they'll be subjected to a meritorious political context that will have casualties. And I think most of our politicians are the ones who are saying, they've been saying, that they are not consulted. But I'll always tell Baba, and I'll tell him on TV, that Baba, go for this position. This is what fits Baba. He has been on the political trail for a long time. He fits this position. Let him ignore the naysayers down here. Let His Excellency President Dr. William Ruto hold his hand into the AUC chairmanship. Well, but Trevor, let me also say this. I watched the clip from those who are saying that you can run the two positions at the same time. The functions of the chairperson of the AUC from the African Union Commission include representing and defending interests of the AU, initiating proposals to submit to AU organs, acting as custodian of the Constitutive Act, liaising with the organs, providing operational support, implementing AU decisions in all states and programs, drafting common positions, managing the budget and resources and staff. It is a full-time job. It is a busy job. And remember, apart from the bilateral functions where you are coordinating regions, you have economic regions, you have political regions, North, South, East, West Africa. Then you have the international. So you have all these economic blocks and all these negotiations. All this will be undertaken by the AUC, the African Union Commission chairperson, a very busy office. It is impossible, Trevor, that within this busy schedule that Baba will have, that he would want to come back to ODM and engage Eddie and others and lift people's hands. It will not work. So those whose hands were previously lifted, sorry to them, it is going to be tough in ODM. Trevor, by the way, just to clarify what Eddie said, I am still a life member of ODM. I have not decome from the party. So treat me as such, and I can assure you that whoever wants to see a campaign, a real campaign, look up to Kisumu in 2027. We will have a real campaign for the governor's position.
Okay. Who will lead Azimio? Eddie.
You see, I don't even know how to debate agenda on this. You know, he's contradicting himself so much. And you know me, I like people who politics sometimes is full of dishonesty, and sometimes it's important to just be honest. You know where you stand. I was telling my brother Sigei here that my brother Ojienda, I see him less in the Senate and more in State House than I see Sigei, who is a member of UDA, who is a member of UDA and a speaker for this matter. This guy is more in Senate than Ojienda. Because Ojienda is obsessed with this idea of State House, and maybe because he says that when Baba leaves, ODM will have a problem, and ODM legislators will have a problem, maybe he's doing a strategy of an exit out of ODM so that he can survive, because it cannot be true that ODM legislators will have a problem, you insist that you are an ODM legislature, and you will survive. That cannot be true, unless you're saying that me as Ojienda, I have seen that there is danger in Baba leaving for AU as an ODM member, so let me start warming up for UDA and the government so that I survive. That would be the natural theory in terms of how to look at it. But that said, I think that it is important to understand that ODM is a very strong party. And, you know, even as Baba goes to AU, the leadership of ODM is going to be very, very thorough. It's going to need some sober minds. It's going to need some new energy. is going to need, some good direction. And of course, just like any other parties, ODM must have its own fair of challenges to the extent that we are redeeming a number of things. And you can already see that it is the only party currently that is conducting a registration exercise, a new membership registration exercise, to the extent that, ODM has been everywhere. This is a fact that ODM has been in Nyanza, yes, but ODM has also been in the coast, ODM has been in Rift Valley, ODM has been in Western, all these places, the party leader and us have gone.
Nyanza. Why are we doing Nyanza?
My friend, we were actually even in Lamu the other day. That was the last place that Raila Amolo Odinga was, and then the entire coast. So I won't debate that bit, because it is true that we're doing it nationally. Yeah. But even the response, the people who are coming, you can see that it is serious exercise that people are engaging in. And the thing is, with the new, with a mix of new and old leadership in the party, ODM will remain vibrant, and ODM is going to remain a national party that actually strengthens the question that Trevor had asked on who will be the leader of Azimio.
Yeah, that is the question, who will be?
Right, the leader of Azimio, leadership of Azimio, first of all, the parties that are in Azimio are still intact in Azimio, and those parties have got their leadership, who are very strong people. By the way, even Kalonzo Musyoka, who currently is the de facto, should Raila Amolo Odinga leave, right? In terms of structural leadership, but in terms of philosophical and ideological and membership of that composition of that leadership, Raila will still be engaged at that level. But the leadership of Azimio that includes Honorable Kalonzo Musyoka, Honorable Martha Karua, Eugene Wamalwa, all these people are very strong leaders, and there is no anything that has affected that formation.
Okay, but there can only be one.
But let me just finish one thing here about ODM and Azimio.
Yes.
Ojenda can assure you that in 2027, the people of Kenya will not select you on the basis of money that you dish out and of a campaign that you do.
Will
they are going
or ideology?
Because they have elected you now, they are going to elect people on the basis of what you did with the seat that you have. Okay. And Eddie Okech, Hillary, Ojenda are in the same danger that what did he do to our people? The same way the president is in the same danger of what did he do for Kenyans when he was the president for the last 5 years. Did he fulfill his manifesto? We are not going to excuse President Ruto because as people of Nyanza, at least the way we think, maybe agenda has joined a different thinking. But from where I used to be as a son of Nyanza, we don't elect people just because Raila has told us that this is the person. We elect people on the basis of your delivery, and so far, Kenya Kwanza government has failed in all its manifesto and has failed in what it's supposed to give the people. And that's going to be subjected to the people of Kenya to be able to elect them based on that.
On basis of that. Sige, looking from outside in, who will lead Azimio? Because, of course, Eddie says that Kalonzo is the de facto leader, but still, Eugene Wamalwa has also declared his run for the presidency.
Listening to my good friend here, he confirmed his statement earlier on against Professor Ojenda that politics is very dishonest. Because on the one hand, he is saying that, look, Raila's exit is not a conversation that we can have. On the same note, he's saying, Kalonzo will be, by virtue of the structural organization of the Azimio,
will be the de facto leader.
Then he's brought in another description. It necessarily affects so much. Although, when we look at the role of the person who Raila is looking for in the AU, it will take him away from the local politics for quite some time. It will not be very possible, and it's not going to be business as usual for him to play the role. Now, back to your question. Who will take over Azimio? The first thing is, Azimio is not as intact and as united as Eddie wants us to believe in. We are not living in mass. We are in Kenya. The day before yesterday, my good friend, Governor of Makueni, Mutula Kilonzo Jr., spoke and said that, look, you cannot purport to say that Kalonzo Musyoka is a weak candidate. he's definitely saying we don't have to be in Azimio for Kalonzo Musyoka to be a presidential candidate. Similarly, his senator, my colleague and senior colleague in the Senate, Dan Manzo, said the same. He echoed those sentiments. Oparanya equally saying, look, I am also in the leadership of the party and of the coalition. When Eddie tells us about Mother Karua, who have literally gone back to the mountain and begun a coalition of the like-minded leaders from Mount Kenya, he's not telling us the truth that we all know. They will always, and naturally, there will be a problem with now succession politics within ODM. That is a fact. And Eddie, the earlier you accept this, the better. Because if you are aspiring to be one, then be very strategic so that you become one of those who will be seen as young leaders coalescing around the succession of the ODM. As to who will be in this context now, number one, Azimio is not going to be there as a coalition in the near future.
Is this what the government is hoping?
That is what
it is view.
It's my view. It's my view. And so we should now have a conversation of, well, Kalonzo Musyoka and the rest of the team would probably seek to sort of fortify Azimio as a coalition so that they enhance what I would call unity and bring together the team that can be built to be stronger. In the absence of Raila, that will be a bit of a challenge. But then again, understanding Kenyan politics, it is a possibility. However, with the wrangles within, I'm very sure AD is already strategizing himself to be one of the leaders of the party. My good friend Sifuna, the SG, already spoke. Oparanya, the same thing. I've made reference to Mutula Kilonzo and
Eugene Wamalwa
as well. Here it is. And you saw yesterday Gideon Moi, Eugene Wamalwa, and Kalonzo Musyoka in Kabarak. Now when we speak politics 101, you can say there are certain alignments that will definitely come in future. And most likely, the leadership of Azimio will not be the leadership that is in the front right now.
Okay.
With the
someone completely different.
And we wish them very well.
Yeah.
And of course, if I heard Eddie very well, he's already thinking, so this is the plan of the government to scuttle the Azimio coalition.
That's what you're saying. That's not what I'm saying.
Of ODM. And therefore, their fears
will fire you.
is
That is
what I
you're
would want to say. Look, my friend, get out of it. It's not politics. We are looking at Raila. We are supporting him. We want him to be the AU chairperson.
Thank you, Trevor. Yes. Trevor, let me just be on point, and I will not mince my words.
Yeah.
It is beyond doubt that if Raila Amolo Odinga becomes the chairman of the AU Commission, the hands of His Excellency Dr. William Ruto will be seen in that process, because it is His Excellency William Ruto who has nominated him. It is His Excellency William Ruto who will lead the campaigns towards a successful bid. That will, I can tell you, there will be a shift in political tectonics. And the ODM region, I would speak for the Nyanza region, the Nyanza region automatically support His Excellency Dr. William Ruto. Raila Amolo Odinga, as chair of AUC, will work with the government of Kenya and closely with His Excellency William Ruto. He will not come back to lead any process that will undermine the government of the president that supported him to a powerful position at the AU. Mark my words, therefore, the Azimio coalition, as my learned friend and colleague Senator Wakili Sigea said, will split into smithereens. It will split into smithereens because the hand of Raila will be seen as that hand that would not be trusted to nurture the opposition. The Luo community, where I come from, will be solidly behind His Excellency President Ruto for supporting their son.
Agenda doesn't
I saw the first signs. I saw the first sign, Trevor, in Homa Bay.
Yeah.
When we went, and I'll tell you this, I was in Homa Bay in Air Force One with His Excellency President Ruto, and their support was massive because of this first step. So it is not lost, and I agree with Senator Eddy on the question of how will the election turn out. the election will depend on what the elected leader will have done
Delivered.
to people.
Yes.
So all those Luo leaders elected and other ODM people who normally
Are you saying they're
hang
doing
on
nothing?
on the courts of Raila, time is up.
Okay.
Let me tell you
Work for your
this.
people.
Okay.
Let me tell you
I want us
this.
to have one more topic on the housing, which is coming to the Senate, where
Yes.
people are sitting before we finish.
But can we just wrap up on this before the housing question? And this is very important, Trevor, because Ojenda has invited us to mark his words, and I've indeed marked his word as a Kenyan, now not even as a senator.
Yeah.
He has used the word that should there be any opposition, or any cultivated opposition, whether it's by Raila or any other person, then it undermines the work of President Ruto, then it undermines the presidency. Then Ojenda does not even understand Ruto, who is praising. President Ruto, in his address to Parliament, the first address that did Parliament required under Article 132, and as a lawyer would know, said that it's very important to keep the government to account. So why are you saying that if there is going to be any kind of opposition, or there is going to be any kind of nurturing of questioning and scrutiny to government, then it's going to undermine the work of the president? It basically tells you how Ojenda has compromised this nation by actually wanting to install a dictatorship.
Okay.
And he's saying that by the absence of Raila Amolo Odinga, it's okay for Ruto to be a dictator.
Okay.
It's okay for Ruto not to do the things that he says he's going to do. It's okay for Ruto not to do the things that will be able to empower the people.
I thought it meant that the opposition will not be led by
No. He has said that if Raila contributes,
the AUC
if Raila contributes, he has said in his mouth that if Raila Amolo Odinga makes even a phone call to the members of opposition to be able to guide them on what to do, then it will be undermining the presidency.
No.
That's what he has said.
No, he's overstating.
But this is the thing. This is the thing. This is the general conversation I want to have with Ojenda.
Yeah.
We are young people. I want to conclude with this. This is an opportunity for us as young people to move away from populist politics and have principle in our politics and be able to cultivate ideologies.
Okay.
Because these sweeping populist statements, in which actually, with a lot of humility, I can even accuse the president of having done in the last election, where he demonized success and call it dynastic kind of success, and then put us as a country of the rich versus the poor. This kind of populist politics is populist politics that will even affect this continent. And you see it even in South Africa. Let me just go a little bit Pan-Africanist, because I saw a young man called Malema the other day having an interview on Kaya Radio in South Africa, and then demonizing people, demonizing investors in the context of popularism and playing the card of the poor and the black. And then you see Malema in South Africa currently trying to polarize the country and thrive on poverty of black people, thrive on the fact that black people have had a lot of pain in South Africa during apartheid, to the extent that it takes advantage and start demonizing serious investors in South Africa.
He's not here.
Just so that he's not here. But I'm just giving you an example. It's an example. But that's also what we are seeing in Kenya with this kind of populist politics that people like Ojenda want to say that because Raila is not there, the people of Nyanza will have a blanket kind of approach to politics where they're going to support Ruto because we would have some desperation. I can assure you
we will lead them.
No, let me just finish. I can assure you, Trevor, that there are young people who are capable and young leaders who are capable in ODM and Azimio. Sifuna is there, and he knows Sifuna is not a joke. Ledama Olekina is there, very serious legislator. Babu Owino is there. Eddie Okech is there. Joe is there. We have got a lot of people who are serious leaders in Azimio. It's not a split. I'm telling you, we are going to be united to be able to build a very strong